Trisha starts her video off by wanting us to believe that Ethan is actively inciting hatred toward her by using his fanbase as a weapon against her.
They know the amount of hate that they incite and the danger that they put us in, and everyone they talk about, they know, they see it. He knows he's inciting like really, really dangerous behavior.
It's ironic that Trisha makes such a claim, considering her own history of using her fanbase as a weapon to attack others in the same way she's accusing Ethan of. Even going so far as to threaten people with it.
If I watch the show and you are fucking fake after we have these conversations, I will go on YouTube and I will fucking talk about you so much and say how fucking much of an asshole you are. Can I have some more
I wouldn't like that.
So don't fucking be fake. And if I watch this back, just know that I have a voice on fucking YouTube. And guess what? your Instagram will have to be shut down. Every boyfriend I've ever had has had to shut their Instagram down from the hate comments.
Here she cries about how obsessive Ethan is, complaining that he criticizes every little thing that she does and cites that it's been a long time since Frenemies has ended, so essentially she shouldn't be at the forefront of his mind. She's trying to create a narrative here that Ethan is unnaturally into her to a frightening degree.
Every video he's made obsessing about me, it always scares me. The backlash I receive from their subreddit and their fans. To Ethan himself just obsessing over every little thing I do. I get it, but now it's been 6 months since Frenemies ended, and it's been 3 months since I begged them to stop. And it's never gonna end. The way he's unhinged, the way he obsesses.
What we're trying to figure out is why it's a crime for Ethan to continue to bring her up when it wasn't one when she continued to bring him up way after Frenemies ended. Remember, she talked about Ethan in multiple podcasts for multiple months after Frenemies ended.
Does this, like, he's done it before where I walk off and he kept saying, just walk off then, just walk. So, okay, he's pushing me. All right, fine. Like, at this point, I'm already snapped. And I'm like, let me just not, like, be so crazy. So I was like, let's just end it. But I could see he was, like, pushing. And I was really trying my best to hold it together to be like, you know what? I don't need to walk off the show. I can handle this. But when it got to be like, I'm the producer, you're the that was never. People also like think they know our contracts. We didn't have a contract. There's never been one contract signed. Everyone's like, he was the producer and you are the I was like, there's no contract that says that. There's none. Like, for making what? For making a comment saying like, this segment sucks, and then everybody all of a sudden is like, including Ethan himself, like, Trisha's a person this whole time. Like, but like, some people will never take accountability, and those are the people I have issues with, which is currently Ethan right now. But Ethan's like dragged his mom into it and all this stuff like that. So it's becoming more of a family issue than it had to be, in my opinion. Yeah, Ethan. He just, you know, it was something minor where he just like was like ignoring me, like talking over me, and like I just snapped for it. So like in that moment I snapped and I was just like, well, this next segment sucks, because he was talking over me and he wanted to go to this Q&A, and I was like, it sucks. And then it like spiraled. Just a lot of like the stuff, especially about my fiance leaving me, like he should leave me and I'm abusing him, and stuff that like Ethan put out on the podcast that I didn't want out there, that was private stuff. In that way, I think she has the Ethan syndrome a little, where it's like, if you can't admit to one fault that you did.
That's what I'm saying. Ethan, like, not out
I
of your
still get
mouth.
so much hate from his audience, like literally, even not, it's not even that severe, that obviously those things, but like the stuff that he said saying I wanted to have the whole crew fired, I hang on to that so much because I would never say that's something I do, and I'm just like, oh, the fact that you don't correct this. But the first time it was brought public was, you know, Ethan on the first episode ever of Frenemies, and we were like, don't put that in, and it was in. So then it got out there. No, but like the last podcast, he like admitted to like, oh yeah, because he like, you know, whatever. It's like a whole thing to get into, but he like screenshotted my text, sent him to his staff. He's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. You know, basically like saying that I wanted them fired. And I was like, show me a text. So you basically like lied, whatever. And I think he ultimately couldn't continue the show because he was the one that was like at fault.
Frenemies ended in June of 2021. These interviews span from June to August. In that time frame, Trisha trashed Ethan in a total of 6 separate podcasts after Frenemies ended, making her rounds from podcast to podcast to ensure that viewers knew her negative feelings about him. She also continued to tweet about him excessively. and posted numerous TikToks about him in batches of a dozen each time.
I take ownership. Doing frenemies was the worst mistake.
I guess my only issue is that Ethan always punches down. This is what really turned me off from Ethan when we did the bus tour. Like, it's literally between me and Ethan, him lying to the staff, him going to the staff and making up bullshit. Ethan lies. He lied to his staff. Ethan lied to his huge fan base. And Ethan lied. Ethan being a coward. Ethan being a hypocrite.
The truth is that Trisha continued to poke and prod at Ethan unprovoked for months on end until serious accusations against Moses came forth, which Trisha blamed Ethan for. And it was only then, after months of trashing and taunting Ethan, that Trisha decided to stop in an effort to get people to stop talking about Moses, which you can see here in her texts to Ethan. Ethan defended and gave Trisha a platform for a long time, shielding her from warranted criticism and guilt. While doing their podcast Frenemies, Trisha became untouchable. Once it ended, victims who dealt with Moses in the past felt comfortable enough to come forward to share their stories. Without Ethan shielding her anymore, Trisha, and by association Moses, had nowhere to hide. It's clear that she thought if she could end the beef with Ethan in that moment of time, people would stop talking about Moses. She blames the beef for why these women came forward, refusing to realize that they came forward because they felt safe enough to finally address it. It's hypocritical of Trisha to claim that Ethan is obsessed with her when she spent months on end dragging him during an opportunity that she could. And if we really want to talk about obsession, why don't we talk about David Dobrik and Gabby Hanna? Two individuals that she spent years obsessing over in an unnatural way. Those videos are coming soon. But speaking of unhinged obsessions, here she tries to tell us that Ethan is going after her sister, who she claims is off social media. As if her sister isn't even an internet figure. For the record, her sister Callie is a YouTuber who has been on various social media platforms for years. Her sister is also the one who threw the first punch at Ethan by making a TikTok where she spoke negatively about him.
It's inciting hate on purpose. Inciting very dangerous hate. To which he did a whole podcast about our wedding, our Hanukkah TikToks. My sister again, who's completely off of social media because of the hate. The intense hate she received offline and on, and he brought her up again.
Ethan incidentally invited himself to our family surprise. And we paid for him. Ethan and Hila did not pay for their VIP ticket to Disneyland. We ended up paying for Ethan and Hila, which is crazy because he takes that 5%. And I highly doubt that H3 could afford me.
But if Trisha is so worried about people who go after people who aren't on social media, then why did she attack her ex-boyfriend Jason's ex-wife, who is an actual private person and not a social media influencer, so publicly?
She's an actual bitch. I don't think I've ever said that. Like, what's another girl I would say that about? I don't really think I've said that about many other girls. My ex-boyfriend's wife. Well, that's more an old lady. That girl. She was awful. The worst. Judgmental, evil, and manipulative.
Because, like, my ex, like, crossed the line when I mentioned his ex-wife, and I was like, she's a C-U-N-T, and then he's like, okay, I gotta break up with you, but...
Just because you called his ex-wife a
Yeah, he was a little cuckold, though. He was just like,
Why? Well, he has kids with her. He probably respects his ex-wife, baby mama, and all that.
Yeah, well, she's a bitch.
His ex-wife invited him to Thanksgiving, but I couldn't come. Even though I spend time with the kids all the time, and I'm not allowed to come. It's like she's like just a really evil person. She takes her kids to feminist marches, yet says, oh, she does that naked stuff. It's like, that's what a feminist is empowering other women and their bodies and not sexualizing stuff. It's like, I mean, this whole thing wasn't gonna work. I mean, she's like evil and controlling.
That's why my ex-boyfriend broke up with me. I called his ex-wife that.
Really?
Yeah, and he literally was like, because he's a cuck. Like, he actually is one. He probably scored 0 on that scale. Like, he was like anything. She's like, oh, I was doing Patreon at the time, and he's just, oh, anyway, I should go into this whole detail, but she would threaten to take the kids away. She was crazy.
She claims that if somebody asked her to stop talking about them, she would do it instantly, stating that Ethan and Hila have no boundaries and saying that makes Ethan a bully.
They could not respect boundaries when I just asked them to please stop talking about me. YouTube to stop talking about them, I would cease immediately. I try to set a boundary with him and Gila and ask them to please stop talking about me. And it brought me back to when I had asked Keemstar the same thing, and Keemstar said no. And it's this helpless feeling when you're fragile, as a lot of people are, including Ethan himself, when it comes to mental health and stuff like that. When you're fragile and you ask someone and they just won't. I feel like it's never gonna end, and there is no way out. He is a bully. Ethan is a bully. He knows the hate he's inciting. But beyond that, I have a bully that's obsessed with me.
She seems to forget that every time someone asked her to stop, she would keep going and would justify doing so. Let's not forget what she did to 16-year-old minor Charlie D'Amelio.
I'm just gonna say, Trisha Paytas, like, this is not, sorry, just, you have been completely rude to me multiple times, saying she doesn't have a personality, she can't dance, she's basic. Like, you have your own problems, please stop worrying about mine. And that's all I have to say on that. Quite honestly, I just, like, please stop talking about me. You're not a very nice person.
Being held accountable for your actions online, for behavior that I think is not acceptable, isn't rude. You said, Trisha Paytas, you've been rude to me multiple times. We've never met. There are people being way harsher on you.
She's also admitted that she never stops when she's told to and actually does the opposite and keeps going.
Did you miss the memo? Keep his name out of your mouth?
I'm gonna keep talking. You know when someone tells me that, I just do it 10 times more. I'm just like, it pisses me out. Like when you were like, hey, stop tweeting me your I'm like, well, here's my fucking if you're gonna keep saying it's ugly on your podcast, I'm gonna tweet it to you 20 more times. Like,
I have to say, you said the same thing to Keemstar.
What did I say?
You said, please stop talking to me. And you're like,
yeah.
You didn't leave me alone.
I thought about Gabby Hanna too. I'm gonna keep my name out of your mouth, bitch.
So, but that's what she's doing to you.
Okay, but
She's saying,
funny.
please leave me.
But she's like, keep my name out of your mouth, which is what James Charles, Kylie Jenner. It's like, you're like, people can talk about you. She told me to stop talking about her and that she's been rude. When
she was kind of sweet about it.
When she's literally the most followed person on social media. That's what she signed up for.
I feel like this video's a bit much. You're like trying to like make this big point about her whole family. It's just not that serious.
I never said it was. I mean, I got that. I got the creator fund. I got bills to pay, you know.
She then claims that Ethan is responsible for why people believe that she's anti-Semitic.
Calling me an anti-Semite for wearing a yarmulke and doing a TikTok trend that other people did way before me, a dance to a TikTok trend.
But she's proven that just fine all on her own.
All my Jewish friends always joke. Okay, I don't make the joke. They always joke that they're cheap. Like, I'm Jewish, I'm cheap. Like, that's a thing. I know it's a stereotype. It's probably a wrong stereotype, but all my Jewish friends joke about it, and all my Jewish friends are kind of cheap, so.
I like the stereotypes of, like, their noses. I would like my son to have Moses' nose. It looks so nice. It's nice and big, and I like it. But in a good way. I'm being so serious. Don't I say I love your nose?
Yeah, I mean, that is a deeply anti-Semitic trope.
But I love the nose. I do. I love it.
You're trying to divert from you being a raging anti-Semite.
And I've apologized for my anti-Semitism.
And this is not a stereotype. All of them have been cheap. Like, literally every boyfriend I've, like, dated that was even, like, half Jewish or whatever, like, or full Jewish, oh my god, so cheap. Do something Jewy, like, just do, like, a Jewish face. Actually, you're not a true Jew. You paid for this whole thing. Yiddish is not even a real language. Like, I mean, your name's Jew crazy. Shouldn't you be accepting all Jews? And they were like mocking other, like, they were like pretending to be other Jewish people and like, haha, you're not Jew. I was like, what? Because I only date Jewish guys. I only date Jewish guys.
Don't let Jason fool you. He's only a quarter.
I say that to him all the time because he told me.
He hates it.
I know, because he's like, I'm Jewish. No, you're not. You're only a quarter. He hates it. He does hate it.
Yeah. He leads with it. I'm like, not so quick there.
I love that you said that because I use that against him all the time now too. It's great. He doesn't even celebrate Passover, nothing. He doesn't.
Wait, are you Jewish, Dan?
I'm half Jewish.
Wait, which half? Your mom or dad?
My dad. Which
Fake.
Right.
The mom's got to be
Girl,
Jewish.
you don't even have shit in you.
You're way more fake Jew than me.
Yeah, stop. Who are you? We've got like a Jewish supremacist over here.
My whole dad's side of the family is Jewish, so yes, I'm not Jewish.
The mom's got to be Jewish too.
He said he's not.
I don't know if that matters. Probably not.
I mean, he got bullied for being a Jew, so whatever is. Dude, you got to stop the Jewish gatekeeping.
First of all, he tricked me. I thought he was a full Jew, and then he's like, "Actually, my mom's only Jewish." I'm like, ah.
Yeah, that's full Jew.
Okay, but his dad's like Catholic.
You want Jewish purity.
I need, yeah. That's what I'm trying to get.
You gotta stop, bro.
Why?
Because it's weird. It's weird how you fetishize Jewish
It's not
people.
fetishizing.
It
It's wanting
totally
to be in
is.
the upper echelon of the world.
You can have preference Jewish men.
Okay.
But you can't be like, I was mad at my boyfriend because only his mom was Jewish.
But that's like, okay, that's like if
That
someone's
sounds
like,
weird.
I don't want to use this term. Oh, it's just like if someone tricked you, right? If someone's like, hey,
He didn't trick you.
I was born a girl, I have a uterus, I can have a
trick you.
baby, and then you're not a girl.
He
like,
didn't trick you.
He said he was Jewish.
He is
Jewish. Thank you.
Also, I don't know, because you say you're Jewish so often. He's not, girls. He's literally a quarter Jewish.
I get tricked a lot. My last boyfriend was only half Jewish. He told me he was a Jew. He kept saying, I'm a Jew, and then he was half Jewish. I was like, you are
Was he
not
circumcised?
She's even upset that Ethan admitted that he worried about what effects Trisha's unnecessary stress could be causing his pregnant wife.
And then he said, I agreed. Was blaming any health problems Hila has on me stressing them out.
But she had that same worry for a pregnant Jessie Smiles when she believed that Gabby Hanna was unnecessarily stressing Jessie out. So, Trisha can worry about what stress can do to someone's pregnancy, but Ethan can't when it comes to his own wife who is pregnant with his child? She wants us to believe that Ethan isn't interested in holding people accountable but just tearing them down. But that's been Trisha's entire YouTube career. After all, Ethan isn't the YouTuber out of the two that's known for his life-ruining exposing videos like she is.
And everybody, like, you you want to tear people down. It's not about holding people accountable or being funny anymore. It's just like, I've been keeping to myself and minding my own business.
And he doesn't threaten people with them like she does. It sure doesn't seem like holding Jason and David accountable was her goal here when she stated that if Jason ever broke up with her she would come after David. It sounds more like what she just accused Ethan of, only being interested in tearing someone down the minute they no longer benefited her.
Oh, David, I have so much about you.
What would you say about me?
Oh, I'm not gonna even tell you. If Jason and I break up, you better watch the out. I won't ever. As long as me and Jason are together, I won't ever.